or lipid measurement. So right now I'm going to talk about the lipid synthesis or lipid oxidation. In a fatty state, what's happening? When we eat diet, that contains different kinds of material. One of them is glucose. When we receive a lot of glucose, some part of it converts to the glycogen. Then as you learn in glycolysis, it's converted to the pyruvate, then to the acetyl. This acetyl can be used as a source of energy in a Krebs cycle, or also can be used for fatty acid-CoA synthesis. Then, when you have synthesized fatty acid, or actually lipid, they can bind to the glycerol to produce triglyceride, and then triglyceride can be storage as adipose tissue. So what's happened when we receive glucose or carbohydrate too much? All of them, they are going to convert to the triglyceride, and they storage in adipose tissue, and you become a fatty guy, fatty man or fatty woman. So please do not eat too much carbohydrate. So, but when you are going to be fast and you're taking a fast, short fasting time, please do that. Do not eat all the day. Especially the girls, all the time they are actually eating chocolate. Chocolate has a high level of carbohydrate and sugar. Do not use chocolate too much. Okay? And be a fast for a short time. What's happening during the fasting?
You're going to use the carbohydrates.
Triglyceride, because we don't have glucose enough as a source of energy, we have to provide energy from other sources. One of the main sources of energy in our body is triglyceride. Then, during the fasting, triglycerides are digested to the glycerol and fatty acid. Then this fatty acid convert to fatty acid CoA, and by pathway which is known as the acetyl CoA, they beta oxidation, they convert to the acetyl CoA. By Krebs cycle, they produce energy for us. So when we are fast, we use triglyceride as a source of energy, and we decrease the amount of triglyceride, especially in adipose tissue. So this pathway known as a beta oxidation or fatty acid oxidation. Also, we can use another sources for production of glucose during the fasting, which this process known as a gluconeogenesis. You learned it previous week. So, can you give me the answer of this question?
It's synthesized in the mitochondria. When during
the mitochondria.
During fasting, times where
During the fast. So
In liver and adipose tissue.
in the liver and adipose tissue.
Yes.
And then
Mammillary gland.
mammillary gland. Yes. Doesn't matter.
Acetyl CoA.
Okay. Just give 1 point from yourself. Actually, we told. So, where during the feeding state, when we have enough sources, we are going to actually convert them to the fatty acid. So during the fasting, we don't have fatty acid synthesis. During the feeding state, we have. And where in a lot of specific tissue, specifically adipose tissue, liver, mammillary gland, and also in the cytosol of these cells, not mitochondria. Okay? Mitochondria, beta oxidation is happening. So, here, synthesis of fatty acid occurs primarily in liver, mammillary gland, and adipose tissue. and fatty acids are synthesized from acetyl-CoA, which they are derived from protein and carbohydrate. Fatty acid for synthesis needs ATP and NADPH as a source of energy. So please tell me, where we synthesize NADPH?
Lactating mammary gland, adipose tissue.
By which pathway? By Krebs cycle. Exactly. No.
Glycolysis?
In Krebs cycle, we synthesize NADPH. In glycolysis, we synthesize NADPH.
شو بدنا نسوي NADPH
Pentose phosphate pathway. By pentose phosphate pathway, we synthesize NADPH. And NADPH is so important in fatty acid synthesis. So, let's talk about carbohydrate in glycolysis, especially glucose. Finally convert to what?
Pyruvate.
Pyruvate. Then, pyruvate, for converting to acetyl-CoA, it should be moved to the
Krebs.
mitochondria. Exactly, mitochondria. So, we have acetyl-CoA in mitochondria. And where is the location of fatty acid synthesis? Cytoplasm. So, how we can fix this problem? The sources of fatty acid synthesis are acetyl-CoA, which are located in the mitochondria. Then we are going to do fatty acid synthesis, and we need this acetyl-CoA. What we should do?
Gathering them around.
Transport it to the cytoplasm. How we can transport it? By shuttle. What is the name of this shuttle?
Lamex.
No, citrate. Okay, you learn. Maybe you didn't learn, but
We did
I
learn it, but
suppose
we
you
didn't
learned.
need it.
In the first step of Krebs cycle, oxaloacetate by acetyl-CoA combine together and produce citric or citric acid. So pyruvate convert to the acetyl-CoA by oxaloacetate convert to the citric or citric acid. So how here this cell decide citrate shouldn't be used in Krebs cycle, continue, follow the Krebs cycle, leave the Krebs cycle, leave the mitochondria and go for fatty acid synthesis. How it's decided?
If there is large amount of glucose.
Excess of ATP, exactly. When we are in the feeding state, our level of ATP is high, okay? And you learn, there is an enzyme here, isocitrate dehydrogenase. And this isocitrate dehydrogenase, next reaction of citrate, is inhibited by high ATP level. When we are in feeding state, the ATP is high, is inhibited, isocitrate dehydrogenase, citrate is increased. So citrate decided to leave mitochondria and went to the cytosol. In the cytosol, we have an enzyme which is known as a citrate lyase, ATP citrate lyase. By using ATP, create oxaloacetate and acetyl-CoA. So we were able to transfer these valuable acetyl-CoA from mitochondria to the cytosol.
And then does it go back to the mitochondria again after it finishes?
No. Acetyl-CoA itself cannot move. For this reason, we have to convert it as a form of citrate to transport it. So, fatty acid synthesis consists of 4 phases. Actually, transportation of acetyl-CoA from mitochondria to cytosol, activation, elongation, and termination. Elongation itself consists of 4 steps. Okay, it's different from these 4 phases. Elongation itself consists of 4 steps. These 4 steps you should learn. So just know we actually transport acetyl-CoA to cytoplasm. Then we have to activate this acetyl-CoA. First of all, the problem was that
This slices.
the acetyl-CoA was
have to
in the
transfer it.
mitochondria, and we need to transfer it to the cytosol. The solution is citrate.
Citrate.
And how it's actually
Activate.
decided by increasing the amount of ATP,
ATP.
isocitrate is inhibited, so citrate transferred to the cytosol. Again here you can see this shuttle, citrate from mitochondria to the cytosol, ATP, citrate
Citrate lies
is
in the
by
center.
H2O,
cytoplasm.
ATP and coenzyme A produce acetyl-CoA for us. Is the first step, transportation. The second was
Activate.
activation. You learn in the glycolysis in all of the pathway of carbohydrate and also in lipid and in the next session in amino acid. You will learn for metabolism, the first we need activate. Every compound, they should be activate, then we can use them. So acetyl-CoA for activation receive another carbon. Acetyl-CoA has how many carbon? Two carbon. So, one and two. Then it receive another carbon from CO2. And by using energy as a source of ATP, produce a molecule which known as a malonyl-CoA. Malonyl-CoA contain
3C.
So the enzyme here, what is did adding a CO2 or carboxyl to the acetyl-CoA. So the name is clear. Acetyl-CoA carboxylase. Acetyl-CoA carboxylase.
Because we are adding carbon.
Need what? Carboxylase biotin. From the amino what's going to do? Biotin is a vitamin or coenzyme for the carboxylase.
B9.
So this enzyme is so important enzyme in fatty acid synthesis and known as a rate limiting step in fatty acid synthesis. So what does that mean? It means if we are going to regulate fatty acid synthesis, we should consider this enzyme. How we can regulate that? What do you think about the role of insulin and glucagon on activity of this enzyme? Insulin increase it or decrease the activation of the acetyl-CoA carboxylase?
Increase the rate.
Or other name is ACC. We call it ACC, acetyl-CoA carboxylase. So, you learned from the previous semester one of the mechanisms for activation, and the activation is what was phosphorylation, dephosphorylation. So, what do you think about that? When it's phosphorylated, is active or dephosphorylated?
When it's active, it's phosphorylated. In previous semester, I actually focused on this part and told you all the time insulin dephosphorylated and glucagon and epinephrine and growth hormone phosphorylated. So you should first of all find out what is the action of insulin or glucagon, then you can decide it should be phosphorylated or dephosphorylated. So here,
Insulin increase.
Decrease.
if this side,
زاد. قال لك أول شيء تعرف العلاقة بينهم. الزيت mention. Phosphorus.
is acetyl-CoA carboxylase, when has a phosphate group is inactive. When it's dephosphorylated is active. And insulin has a positive effect on a phosphatase which remove a phosphate. In other way, glucagon and epinephrine and growth hormone, they lead to the inactivation of this enzyme and phosphorylation. So it's completely clear. When insulin is high, enzyme is active. When insulin is low, enzyme is reactive. The another way for regulation of this enzyme is that. What is the final result of this enzyme function? What we are going to do by fatty acid synthesis? To synthesize the fatty acid, the long chain fatty acid, okay? So, this enzyme can inhibited by long chain fatty acid clay. The final product, the end product. When we produce enough fatty acid, they come and inhibit this enzyme, acetyl-CoA carboxylase, ACC. And citrate, as a precursor of acetyl-CoA, is stimulated this enzyme. How they can stimulate or inhibit? This acetyl-CoA carboxylase can be
So if too much.
present as a two form. Let's me to explain that Jafar and then. When they are as a dimer form, they are inactive. Dimer form inactive. When they are a polymer, they are active.
Alright.
So long chain fatty acid lead to the polymerization and activation, and citrate lead to the depolymerization or creating a dimer form and activation.
Could you repeat that?
Yes, I think I actually say in wrong way. When is dimer is inactive, when is polymer is active. Long chain fatty acid lead to the depolymerization and creating the dimer form and inactivate, and citrate lead to the polymerization and activation. I think I correctly right.
That's in the case if both, like, if they increase.
Yes.
Huh.
Citrate increase in actually
Better.
and long chain increase.
If they're
Very
at the
welcome,
same,
Hassan. Your name was Hassanin also? Mohammed Hassan. Mohammed Hassan. How are you? Have a seat.
if both of these are at the same level, what happens then?
But
If you
doesn't actors, you know? They should decide. They should decide. We need fatty acid synthesis or we don't need it. Okay? So, what's happening for fatty? Till now, we transfer, then we activate. So what we have right now,
The elongation.
malonyl CoA. Malonyl CoA, then elongation should be active. So, the second enzyme, guys, known as a FAS. FAS is an abbreviation of
Fatty acid synthase.
fatty acid synthase complex. This fatty acid synthase complex is a dimer, and each monomer consists of 7 enzymes. How many enzymes include in this complex? 14 enzymes. 2 of 7, it's become 14 enzymes together. So it has a 2 arm. Okay? These 2 are known as the ACP. ACP or acyl what? Carrier protein. It's also contain coenzyme A, like vitamin B5. And we have another enzyme. This has a SH actually group, and we have another which is known as a cysteine. Again, has a SH group. Okay. The main arm or hand is this ACP. And ACP, you can imagine it's like a factory, and there is a robot which adds something to this component. This main robot is ACP. So, if I summarize, So you can imagine we have a 2R, one of them ACP, SH, and the other cysteine, SH. Okay? This is ACP and SH. What's happened for us? Let's go on. They are the enzyme 7 and 7, 14 enzyme together. You should actually, are you needed to learn all of them? No. Just those enzymes and part I will explain are necessary. First of all, again you can see ACP and cysteine or coenzyme A. The other name also known as a coenzyme A, doesn't matter. The first group which participated in fatty acid is acetyl-CoA. We will add acetyl-CoA in ACP first of all. Then this acetyl-CoA leave ACP, bind to the where coenzyme A. So we have an acetyl CH3, and SH. Just has a 2 carbon. It's leave ACP, transfer to the coenzyme AR. So ACP is ready, is empty, is free to receive what? Another what?
Acetyl
Malonyl-CoA. So we convert acetyl-CoA to malonyl-CoA. Just the first one in fatty acid synthesis come as a form of acetyl. The rest, all of them come as a form of malonyl-CoA. So here in malonyl-CoA we have a COO, actually CO, CH2 and COO. Okay? Let's look at that. We have the CO, CH2 and COO. ACP and C. Can you remember the structure of fatty acid? What was the structure of fatty acid?
Complex of amino acids.
We had a CH3 here. Yes? And we have a CH2, 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 a lot of CH2.
R complex.
Finally, we had what? CO negative. Okay, or COH, doesn't matter. So if you look at this structure, somehow similar, but it's not completely a fatty acid. What's happened in the next part? This acetyl, this actually carbonyl group from here, attack to this CH2 and release this CO2, okay, and bind to here, okay. What's happened here? Attack to this part and produce this structure. If I wanted to actually create that. CH3, CO, CH3, CO. So, somehow this part is similar to fatty acid. Has a CH3 in this side, has a COO negative at the last one, has a CH2 here, but here is not CH2, is a CO. So what we should do? We should reduce it. Reduce it. For this reason, we need what? For reduction? Reductive coenzyme, like NADPH. For fatty acid synthesis, we need NADPH. So we should remove this oxygen and convert it into CH2. We need NADPH. So what we are going to do? First of all, by using a 1 NADPH, okay, this
CO is converted to COOH H2 here. Okay? COH. Then in the next part again we use we dehydrate and when we actually release
Remove
the
water.
water from this molecule, the double bond is created. And then the last one, again we will give it NADPH and then it becomes a fatty acid. How many carbon it has?
4.
4. It's known as a butyric acid. It's a fatty acid. Butyric acid. So what we did, first we combined two molecules, ACP and acetyl-CoA together. It's known as a condensation. The first step was condensation. The second was what? Reduction.
Using NADP.
Exactly.
NADPH or NADP?
NADPH. The third one was
Dehydrolyzation.
dehydration. And the last one was reduction again. So we have to these 4 steps to add another 2 molecules, actually 1 acetyl-CoA with 2 carbon. Again, here. This molecule leave ACP, bind to the coenzyme. ACP is ready for what? For receiving the new malonyl-CoA. So its leave is free, new malonyl-CoA is come. What's happened again? It's attacked to here, CO2 is released, it's become this 6 carbon. Again, we have a reduction, dehydration, reduction, and produce these 6 fatty acid carbon. Go back, convert to this side, free, new malonyl-CoA, reduction, dehydration, reduction, and 10. Again 12, again 14, again 16. How many cycles we need? 7 cycles to ultimately produce palmitate. Palmitate as the actually final or end product of fatty acid is synthesized in our body. So just it's repetitive 4 cycle without condensation, reduction, dehydration, and reduction. Sometimes you are thinking in fatty acid synthesis, what is the actually correlation with water? But during the fatty acid synthesis, we produce water. We produce water. We produce CO2. And we need ATP and we need NADPH as a source of energy. And reduction. So they are the whole step, whole 5 together. Then you can see what's happened. It's act like a, actually as I mentioned, like a line of producing in manufacture, and one by one they are adding, and it's happened for the maintenance. There are the enzyme, 7 enzymes on this complex, and add and actually do this one. Finally, for fatty acid synthesis with 16 carbon, which is known as a palmitate, what we need? We can say 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA. We can say 1 acetyl-CoA and 7 malonyl-CoA. Okay? It's more correct. 1 acetyl-CoA and 7 malonyl-CoA. Plus 14 NADPH and 7 ATP. Why we need ATP? For ACC. For malonyl-CoA production, we need ATP. So 7 malonyl-CoA, 7 ATP. What is produced for us? Palmitate and 7 molecules of water. Cool. And what is the fate of this fatty acid? And another 2 or 3 slides is remaining from this session. Is actually will remain for tomorrow, but here for 10 minutes I will explain the practical part, then we will go to the lab dialogue. Just remind me till here, I actually explained to you.
So now we finished?
No, I'm going to actually explain practical very, very briefly.
سدة
لا قال اشرحها افتح فيديو ثاني براكتيكال. لا بعد. So now practical now?
اي